Amara kneeled and carefully touched the plant, feeling its energy pulse through her fingertips. As she did, a voice echoed through the clearing.
Who dares to take what belongs to the forest spirit?
Amara looked around, but saw no one. The voice seemed to come from the very trees themselves. It is I, Amara. I seek the plant to bring prosperity to my people.
The air grew still, and after a moment the voice spoke again.
The plant cannot be taken by force. It is a gift that must be earned. You must prove that your heart is pure.
Amara nodded, determined. I will do whatever it takes. At that moment the ground trembled, and from the roots of the great tree emerged a spirit, a figure made entirely of light and leaves. It hovered before Amara, radiating warmth and wisdom.
You must face 3 trials, child. Only then will you be worthy of the plant. But know this, the trials will test not only your strength, but your heart.
The spirit vanished into the air, prepared herself for the trials ahead. The first trial came swiftly. As Amara walked deeper into the forest, a figure appeared before her, none other than Nwonyi, her wicked stepmother. But she was not as Amara remembered. The woman had transformed into a shadowy figure, her eyes glowing with malice. Amara, Nwonyi hissed, you have come to steal what is not yours. The forest will never accept you, and neither will I. Amara stood tall, not backing down. I do not come to steal, but to help my people. I have no ill intentions. The shadow figure of Nwonyi laughed darkly. You think you are better than me? I have seen your heart, and it is weak. Amara felt a pang of doubt, but she stood firm. You may not understand my heart, but I know my intentions are true. I will prove it to the forest. With those words, the shadow of Nwonyi faded away, and Amara felt a surge of strength. She had passed the first trial, a test of courage and conviction. The second trial was even more difficult. As she walked through the forest in her new attire, the ground began to shift beneath her feet. Suddenly, the trees grew taller and twisted, their branches forming an impenetrable maze. Amara searched for a way out, but the more she walked, the more lost she felt. Panic began to rise within her. But then she remembered the words of the wise woman from before. You are stronger than you know. Taking a deep breath, Amara closed her eyes and trusted her intuition. Slowly, the maze of trees began to part, and she found herself back on the path. The second trial had been a test of patience and self-belief, and Amara had passed. Finally, the third trial came. She arrived at a deep chasm in white attire, with a narrow bridge swaying precariously over the abyss. On the other side stood the plant she had come to find, glowing more brightly than ever. But just as Amara took a step toward the bridge, a voice boomed from the sky. You are not worthy. Turn back. It was the spirit of the forest, testing her resolve. If you cross this bridge, you may never return to the world you once knew. Amara hesitated. The chasm seemed endless, and the bridge seemed fragile. But the spirit's voice was calm now. What is your true heart's desire, Amara? Amara paused. I desire only to help my people and bring peace to my village. I do not seek power or glory, only to heal the wounds caused by the wickedness around me. The spirit's voice softened. Then go, Amara. Your heart is true. With newfound confidence, Amara stepped onto the bridge and crossed it. As she reached the other side, she bent down to pick the magical plant. Amara stood at the edge of the abyss, her heart pounding as she gazed down at the deep chasm below. The bridge was narrow, and the wind howled around her, as though warning her to turn back. But Amara had come so far she could not turn away now. Taking a deep breath, she stepped onto the bridge, her feet carefully finding their place on the creaking planks. Each step felt like a test, as though the very bridge itself wanted to throw her into the dark depths. But with every step, Amara felt a calmness wash over her, a whisper from within urging her forward. She thought of her father, her people, and the kindness she had shown despite the cruelty she had faced. When she reached the other side, Amara sank to her knees in relief, her heart light. Before her stood the plant she had come for, its petals glowing with a deep, radiant light. She reached out and gently plucked it from the earth. As she held the plant, a warmth filled her, and she felt the power of the forest, the energy of the earth itself, coursing through her veins. Amara turned to return, knowing that the trials were over, but the spirit of the forest, now glowing like a golden cloud, appeared before her once more. You have passed all 3 trials, Amara. Your heart is pure and your intentions are noble. The plant is yours, and with it, you carry the blessings of the forest. The spirit's form began to dissolve into the air, but its voice lingered. Go back to your people, and let them witness the power of your heart. You will lead them to prosperity. As Amara made her way back through the forest, she felt different, stronger, more connected to the world around her. The trees seemed to bow in respect as she passed, and the flowers along the path bloomed more brightly than ever. The magic of the forest had not only protected her, but had also become a part of her. She was no longer just a girl burdened by hardship. She was a powerful force of nature herself. When Amara finally emerged from the forest, the villagers were waiting for her. They had heard the rumors of her journey, and now, they watched in awe as she walked toward them, holding the glowing plant. Her stepmother, Nornyi, stood at the front of the crowd, her face twisted in anger and envy. She had expected Amara to fail, to be lost forever in the forest. But when she saw the plant, she knew that Amara had succeeded in ways she could never have imagined. Amara walked up to the village elder, who had once sent her on this quest. I have returned, she said quietly, with the plant that will bring prosperity to our land. The elder took the plant in his hands, his eyes wide with admiration. You have proven yourself, Amara. You are truly the heart of this village. But Nornyi stepped forward, her voice trembling with bitterness. How could this happen? How could you, a mere girl, surpass me? I am the one who should have had the power. I am the one who should have been chosen. The villagers, once fearful of the stepmother's power, now saw her for what she truly was. They turned their backs on her, and one by one, they walked away from her, leaving Nornyi standing alone, her face contorted in rage. Amara, standing with the plant in her hands, looked at her stepmother and spoke softly. It is not power that brings happiness, Nornyi. It is kindness, love, and a pure heart. You could have shared in this, but instead, you chose jealousy. Nornyi's eyes burned with fury, but there was no one left to listen to her. Slowly, she turned and disappeared into the shadows of the forest, never to return. With the plant Amara had brought back, the village flourished. The earth became more fertile, the crops grew in abundance, and the people lived in peace and harmony. Amara, now regarded as a wise and loving leader, continued to guide her people with compassion and fairness. Her stepmother's legacy was forgotten, replaced by the hope and prosperity Amara had nurtured. As years passed, the villagers would tell the tale of the girl, who faced the trials of the heart and triumphed over evil. And when Amara's time came, the forest spirit herself appeared, whispering to her in the same way she had all those years ago. You have done well, Amara. Your heart has shaped the world for the better. You are the true guardian of this land. And so, Amara's name was carried through generations, remembered as the girl who taught her people that true strength lies not in power, but in love, courage, and the purity of one's heart.